Very welcome, sir, to the meeting. We are really grateful to you that you accepted our request to interact with EMA members. We are very happy that government is acting in a very responsive and responsible manner, I would say, in terms of various announcements, in terms of interaction with industry associations. We have raised many demands, many requests we have made, and practically, I would say, government has been accepted these demands, some of the demands almost overnight to make our lives easier. Same is the case for power sector also. We would request you for sharing your vision and thoughts with our members.
Our sector is undergoing a change which was long overdue. We have solved the problem of access. We have reached every home, lighted up every home, every village, etc. But now we have to solve the problem of sustainability. We are doing, the proposed amendments to the tariff policy, which incidentally has been cleared by the group of ministers and is now going to the cabinet. So since the group of ministers has cleared it, so it will be cleared. We have got the comments. We had given time till 5th June. We have got the comments, and now we'll be finalizing the act and sending it, the amendments, and sending it to the Ministry of Law before we introduce this, before we go to the cabinet. So all, and there are some other steps which we have already taken. For example, mandating that LCs have to be given, etc. Apart from that, we are also coming out with a scheme which will be different from the earlier schemes. In the sense, we are merging all the ongoing schemes into one scheme, which will be linked with reforms. Even the release of funds under the scheme will be linked to reforms. Now, reforms means that if you have announced subsidy, you must pay for it. That is one. If your departments have consumed power, you must pay for it. And basically, if these two steps are taken, that will take care of, I think, 70%, 80% of the problem. That leaves the problem. That will leave the problem of theft, which can be addressed. And the new scheme, when it comes, there will be again demand. That the new scheme is about 3.5 lakh crores, and much of that demand will be in terms of high voltage distribution systems. Much of that demand will be in terms of separate feeders for agriculture, prepaid meters, smart prepaid meters, and we would want Make in India and all that.
I would like to compliment you and your team for some of the very bold steps which we had been hearing for a long time, but you have put it into the amendment bill, and like you were saying, some of them are already on the way. I think 4 reforms which you have clearly outlined, which we all believe are very important for us, are the private participation of the distribution network, the commercial discipline through the payment security mechanism, as well as some other suggestions that you were talking about, the tariff rationalization and removal of the cross subsidies that are happening, and finally the direct benefit transfer of subsidies to consumers through a different mechanism. I think all these 4, if done, we will see a very different sector in the country. And I think, again, thanks for driving this in a very short time. Like President was saying, just 4 months ago, you had addressed and said you'll work on these at Elekrama, and these are already at the parliament stage. So we had 2 very specific questions, Minister, which we wanted to get your views on. One, while you briefly mentioned, can you share a little bit more on the details of the timelines of how you foresee these amendments going through? So if you can just share a little bit more on the timelines of how you see it happening.
As far as the policy is concerned, the policy, had gone to the cabinet, and the cabinet referred it to a group of ministers. And the group of ministers, we made presentations before the group of ministers. They have cleared it. And now we are going back to the cabinet. So since the group of ministers have cleared it, and the cabinet will not have any issue with any of the provisions. That has all these things which you spoke about reducing cross subsidy and bringing it down to 20%. We have given a time frame of 5 equal tranches,
In Electrama, you talked about reforms. It was music to our ears. And today, you started your discussion with Make in India. So that is more music to our ears. And as a MSME manufacturer, I can tell you, sir, this is really heartening. In this respect, we also welcome the two recent orders on public procurement. One, the revision on 4th June by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and the second one from your Ministry of Powers on 4th of April. So these orders are being implemented with great vigor and at the central level, let's say with Power Grid or NTPC.
Yes.
But as you're aware, sir, the large part of our business is also with the state and the state PSUs and utilities. And here we find that the same principles are not followed up. And this is a concern.
Bipul,
Yes, sir.
if you find any state entity of any state government violating these orders, please bring them to our notice. I will take it up with the Chief Minister. I'll create a ruckus. That state will be sort of called to account. Thank you, Mr. Singh, and all the members.